welcome, welcome. I'm going to start out with the Karmic deck first. Oh, that's nice. We have forecast for storms tomorrow, but then the rest of the week is supposed to be fine, so hopefully you have a good forecast coming up wherever you are. So. 8 of Wands. The Hydra. This is not a very nice looking Hydra. Right? It's one of those things where you fix one problem, then you get some more, right? But just because it happens doesn't mean you're not going to have a solution. Okay, so keep that in mind with this 8 of Wands here. Because there's people out in the world that they want to make problems for you. That's like their goal because they don't have SHIT going on, right? They don't want to get a job. They don't want to get a hobby. You know what I mean? They're a chaos creator. They think they're the Joker revisited. You know what I'm saying? Like, King of Pentacles, Leprechaun. This could even be somebody who has resources. So in their mind, you know, like all's fair, right? To come at you. But since they are being called a little leprechaun here, you know, the leprechaun's always trying to outsmart everybody else, but sometimes the luck runs out, right? Four of Swords. Yeah, you could be kind of over this kind of them wanting to take advantage here. So for some of you, you can see on the card how she's like laying there. I feel like some of you could like be ignoring phone calls, messages, things of that nature where you're just like, I don't want to deal with this person anymore. I don't care who they are. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care who your daddy is. Right? I don't care how many times you cross the finish line over there. We're playing this game now. And that's when, you know, the Most High is going to give you the answers to figure out each problem as it comes, even if it does come really quick. You know, a perfect example is when, you know, you get one bill in the mail and then you get like 2 or 3 the same, you know, the next day, and you're like, oh my God, which bill do I pay first? You're going to figure it out. Don't make it more complicated than it has to be, because like I said, there's people that want to make stuff complicated. I was watching a video from a YouTube creator. I think her name's Lindsay Glenn. Anyway, it was about, you know, some folks that go to the food pantries. Not saying all. Because I think food pantries are great, and, you know, but there's some folks that they're like, the woman that went out and made a TikTok video complaining about her getting a bag of dried beans. I don't know what to do with these. Well, lady, there's probably instructions on the back. Can you read? And that's what the YouTube creator was saying. Like, go Google it, figure it out. Some people want to make things way more complicated than it has to be. Eight of Cups, Pirate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, collective, you could have had your fill of this, like, oh, we're all gonna band together and we're gonna help so and so and so and so and so and so. And then when you like see how some folks are living, sometimes you're like, why am I bending over backwards to help this person? Because they are not interested in helping themselves. You know what I mean? People be like, oh, well, it's not Christian not to help. Well, it's not Christian to give and give and give of yourself until there's nothing left. You know? Is that what you're meant to do? To just be used up like some freaking paper plate to be tossed in the trash? All right. Ten of Cups. You'd have some happiness on the horizon here. So I feel like there's some chaos perhaps around you or that you're noticing. And it's like, you deserve happiness. Like, I went to a concert, a rock concert, And apparently I, bumped into the dude and his wife next to me while I was up dancing. They were not up dancing. They did not get up for a single song to dance. And the reason I know this is because one of the staff members actually said something to me. And I was like, you know what? I was like, his arm hair was rubbing up on me for half the evening, so I guess he had it coming. Like, you're at a fucking rock concert. Are we that uptight as a society? This is what I'm saying. And then, but the staff member, he later like apologized to me. It's like, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. Blah blah. It's like, yeah, I'm real sure the dude behind me, and I was wearing a nice outfit. I'm sure he was real horrified to see me shaking my booty in front of. I have a little feeling. I got a little feeling. It had more to do with his woman maybe not liking that. But get up and dance, join the party. It's a rock concert, not a freaking assembly where you have to sit down and shut up. I'm like, it was a really dry crowd. I have to, because later on in the evening there were more people up dancing, but like in my section, in my area, I was one of the only people up dancing, and I wasn't even up the whole time. Like, I would get up and then I would sit back down in my seat, and I would just dance in my little area, you know. So again, you collective, you might have had your fill of this, and you're like, I'm calling pirate on this. I don't care what they're doing. I'm gonna enjoy myself over here. You know, it's like all these people that want all these kids to be, all, oh, everyone has ADHD or whatever. Everyone has autism now. Everybody needs to be so freaking medicated that nobody even can move a muscle. Y'all need to get out more. It's gross. It's gross energy to be putting on people like that, and especially when you're in the environment to try and do that and enjoy that. It's like, wow, y'all are some uptight mofos. You know what I mean? It's like, y'all wouldn't have lasted in 1960 or 1970 or 1980 somewhere else. I was just watching a movie, one of the free ones on YouTube, and it was like a movie about like back in the day when the motorcycle gangs were more popular and they'd come through and terrorize a town, and like some bad stuff, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, the people that I was by, would they have been able to handle that? or they'd be like the fainting goats, faint as soon as they see anything happen. I mean, that's just life, right? But like I said, some people are just so uptight. It's just like ridiculous these days. Two of Pentacles. Okay. You might have a couple opportunities coming your way soon. And you might be like, look, I got enough problems of my own. But they're going to be opportunities that are going to help you achieve this. It's going to be like one of the solution presents itself, right? That was a line in Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade, right? When John Connery comes and plays Harrison Ford's dad in the movie, and he's like, "Oh, the solution prevents itself, son," and he's like, it's kind of giving his dad the eye. It's like, ugh, I've been trying over here. But sometimes that happens. It's like you didn't have nothing, and then all of a sudden you got more than you can carry, right? Okay. Let's keep going. I will say the second performer of the night, he's more like a country performer, and there were some people dancing in the aisles and stuff, and it's like, thank God somebody's cutting a freaking rug up in this joint. Gee, Merry Christmas. I'm telling you, it's like, what has happened to society? I'm like, no wonder all these kids are so freaking medicated. Because these adults do not know how to have fun. F-U-N, no, they do not know how to have fun. And I'm not saying you have to drink. I mean, I had a couple beers. Oh, God. Well, I'm an adult. I would have danced if I didn't have beers. You know what I mean? Anyway. Seven of Swords. Yeah. This little leprechaun that wanted to get lucky on you by presenting himself as a King of Pentacles is finding out that they're not getting away with it. They're being found out for the shady type of leprechaun. Like, what was that? Wasn't Jennifer Aniston in one of those horror movies about the leprechaun? I don't think I watched a single one of those. I'm not big into horror movies. I've seen some, but it's not my favorite genre. Anyway, I think regular old people out in the world are scary enough. I don't need to watch a movie about it. You know what I mean? Four of Cups. Okay. So this person could be a little emotionally draining for you, whoever this is, especially with this Four of Swords here. Just like, ugh, like I don't want to deal with them. I just want to chillax. You know what I mean? And you might feel like you're missing out on something, but at the same time, you're like, did you really want to go through with that? Maybe it's one of those situations where you said you were going to go on a date with somebody and then you realize, like, I don't really want to go out with this person. Ten of Wands, but it wanted to come out in reverse. So yeah, again, you might be calling pirate on this situation where you're like, that is not, like, you guys and your relationship issue over here is not my problem. If you didn't want to be at a rock concert, I guess why did you even show up? You know what I mean? Like that's how I took. I was, it's like, how is that my problem? Because because they want to be a square. Because they want to have a piss poor attitude. Best alarm system there is. Yeah, Five of Wands. You're not wanting to. What is that? Hey, knock it off. It's a song called "When This Battle Is Over, Who Will Wear the Crown." Okay, so here with the chariot, you're ready to ride into victory, and there's people that want to fight you on it. And look at that, right underneath the chariot again. You're like, is the fight over? Is the fight over? You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing where you're just like, I'm not interested. Not interested in the slightest. What you are interested in, collective, is this Ace of Pentacles that's coming your way. All right? And some of you might already have this Ace of Pentacles action kind of going, and now it's like, now you got another Pentacle, and you're like, oh, now I got to juggle this too. But it's a blessing to be able to do it. Right? Remember that. Remember that. Some people, that's like, they don't understand what joy is. They don't understand what celebration is. I haven't thought about moving to a different area because there was some open areas where I could have like moved, and I thought, no, I paid for this. Is the seat that I bought. It's like, well, I'm allowed to dance in my seat. Anyway, they weren't from my town, so they were from out of town. But that was a nice long drive home for them. Anyway, when the band has songs called like Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, it's like you might see some people get up and dance. And sorry, I'm a standard, large size 12, whatever, American female. Like, sorry, I'm not a little twig that don't take up no space. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing where people are just like putting something on you. It's like, well, yeah, I have the body of a female, and I wore a dress to a rock concert. I mean, what are you stupid or something? Like what? You know, put down the judgments, put down the hate. People are gonna live their lives whether you like it or not. You know, so you can ride that paddy wagon back to freaking Danville or wherever the hell you came from, right? Excuse the hell out of me for living. And we got a little bit too much of that these days. A little bit too much of that. Anyway, you know. But you know how some of these folks are. They'd be like, oh, yeah, but, we'd invite you back to our bedroom or something. It's like, oh, excuse me. I think dancing in my seat is going to be the limit for me today. You know what I mean? Anywho. I'm going to go ahead and pull another row. So I want to get out of some of this energy. It was just funny to me. So again, whoever this earth sign masculine, again, could have presented themselves as having it all and really did not. Yeah, 10 of Wands, again, dragon. So you're like, yeah, I'm not being dragged by you anywhere. Not going with you to any hoo-haville that you have planned. That was also in the movie that I was watching. It was like this biker gang tried to get this girl back to their clubhouse so they could, jump her and, initiate her into their gang by, assaulting her physically, and she ends up getting out of it, right? It's like some people, they want you to be nasty with them, and it's like, what is that like? What does me have to do with you? right now. Because last time I checked, there ain't nothing wrong with me in a public place doing what I'm doing. You know, out in California, they want to make everything illegal. And it's like, well, isn't that where they first started letting people buy weed and stuff? But oh my God, if you were to smoke a cigarette outside somewhere, you know, so many people get so upset. Now I get it, they got the forest fires and all that kind of stuff out there, which, you know, hey, practice safety, right? Always with stuff like that. Um, but you understand is the hypocrisy is like a little thick, you know. 10 of Pentacles, yeah. Collective, you are strongly moving forward, okay? Whereas this person here wanted to get away with what you had. All right. Um yeah. So they're kind of finding out that you're a little stronger, okay, than they had anticipated or predicted. Okay. Four of Cups. Again. So this person could have wanted to make you feel like left out. This person could have wanted you singled out for some reason. Again, you're not answering their phone calls. You don't really want anything to do with them either. Um, you know, and this is the thing. This relationship could be like dead in the water, you know, and it's like they're trying to come back and revisit something and you're like, "Why?" Like, go about your merry way, bro, or girl, or whoever the hell you are. You know what I mean? Some of us done grew up and grew out and, right? Moved on. Moved on down the road. Oh, rolling down the highway. Okay, you know, we ain't here to ruminate over things that ain't gonna be resurrected never. Never. Forever, ever. You know what I mean? Like, never. Okay. Four of Pentacles. Yeah. You have enough. This person wanted you to reach, like, for them. Yeah. Have some patience in this situation. This person had a really big ego. Really big ego. And, you know, with this King of Pentacles thing. Because that's how they saw themselves, but they weren't. You know, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna still be reaching, but I'm not reaching for you. You know what I mean? Like, no. You know, it's like they want the spoils, but they don't want to pay the fee. You know what I mean? They want all the fun, but they don't want to do the work. You know, and it's like, well, you reward yourself after the work, right? Six of Swords. Yeah, you could be moving out of the situation, moving away from this chaos. Okay. You know, and focusing on what you have at hand. You know, there's no need for you to play hot potato. you got you got the fire right here. You know what I mean? And it's good fire. You know, it's the kind of fire you want. Get things going, get things moving. Okay? High Priestess. Yeah. Some people will be like, well, how do you know they were? Well, you know what? You know, sometimes you just know, right? So the fact that you're still working hard here with this Ten of Pentacles and you're counting your blessings means you understand things that other people don't. Because there's people that have the whole world at their fingertips and they still ain't happy, right? Whereas you, collective, you're like, hey, I'm okay with that. I'm good with having a roof over my head. I don't need to write it all on some big hand in Vegas to feel important. Using the sense that God gave you. How many times have you heard that expression? Because there's a lot of folks out there that don't. Hopefully, in the next concert I go to, people won't be so stuck up. I don't know. I'm not saying that they were rude or anything, but I was just like really surprised. It's like, why did you all even come to this concert? Like, nah, I just was shocked. I mean, all the people in front of me, like on the floor, a lot of them were standing, but in my section, there were very, very few until like way later. Um, anyway, Three of Wands. Okay, you might have some travel on the horizon, especially away from this situation that you don't want to be a part of, where it's like you don't have to necessarily ignore the person, you're just going to be busy doing other things. So, you know, they they missed you this time and maybe they'll miss you forever kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh well, yeah, you're okay. I'm hearing like this la da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like you're like intergalactic. You got bigger and better, brighter uh things to do with your time, your money, your resources, your brain, everything. Okay? Whereas they don't, and that's why they're trying to bug you, kind of thing. All right, one more for the outcome. Ooh, Three of Swords. Yeah, so this person could claim to be a little heartbroken over the situation, but it's just like one of those live and learn moments, collective. Okay, where you're like, well, I guess it just didn't work out this time. you know doesn't mean you need to go on to their play where they work and be like, oh, this person, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean, and doing all that stuff, all that childish stuff, you know especially when it's a personal thing, especially when it's a personal issue. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely getting the Captain Jack Sparrow vibes here, where you're just kind of like, I am sailing away. Yeah, come sail. I was hearing that song earlier by Styx, right? Come sail away with me, like onto another dimension. And that could be through travel. Maybe you're actually moving. I don't know, but you're like, I'm not staying at the Heartbreak Hotel with you. Um, it's like I've mentioned this before, and I think I said it earlier in the reading. Like some people don't know how to be happy, right? You can show them everything. They're like, nah, I don't want that. Okay, don't. But don't come around me crying about it. Okay? It's one thing if you're trying, it's another when it's just like, it's like, what are you, a child? So you gotta realize some folks, that's the mentality that they have. Um, Maybe they have some unresolved issues. Let's just call it that. But those issues are not yours to solve. That's why this Ten of Wands came out in reverse. So, if they do come to you, you can be like, look, maybe you need to go talk to somebody about that. And maybe it's not you, right? So anyway, again, I feel like with this Eight of Wands, this that came up, you might have a lot of things happening, especially with the force of spring, right? It's like, oh, gotta hurry up and get this done, right? Um, but once you get the ball rolling, right, it's like then it becomes a little easier. Okay, so um, and then before you know it, once your hands are free, right? And it's like, oh, here's another blessing. Oh, here's another one. It's like, oh, what am I gonna do with two at the same time? Oh, well, you're gonna figure it out, ain't you? Bada bang, bada boom. And just because somebody else didn't know what to do with this blessing, all other people around that didn't, want to dance around me, right? Like you don't hear this music right now? I don't. It was like, what's going on? Like, are we at the same show? Some people take advantage of the moment, right? My cup runneth over. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Stick to your guns, collective, at this time. I think this High Priestess card is definitely screaming that today. Where it's like, yeah, some people just don't know how to live. Maybe it's us that is there to let people know and to show them the way and lead them the way, right? Somebody has to lead. Others may or may not follow, right? Anyway, that's all I have for today. So definitely get out there and explore. And there's a lot of different ways to explore. Even physically, you could, um, take a mental trip, right? In reading a book. Okay, allow your creativity to take you where you need to go. Because some of these other folks, they wouldn't know what to do with it if it was handed to them. Okay, so what are you gonna do? Girls just want to have fun, right? That's a movie, by the way, not just a song title, which they probably stole the name of the movie from the song. But yeah, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. It's a movie that came out, I think, maybe in the 90s or late 80s. Sometimes I go back and I watch these things and I think, oh my gosh, some of these people today, they don't get it. It's like they've never seen anybody do a TikTok dance video before. You know what I mean? Like, what? Huh? Anyway. So don't be afraid to live your life just because everybody else is so freaking medicated. Okay? Maybe they're overly medicated. And I think some people like it that way because then they can like kind of check out and be like, oh, well, I didn't know that was good. And it's like, you know what? I don't have time for that right now. I don't. You want to put your head in the sand? You can do that. I don't know what kind of bird that was. Did you hear that? There it went again. Does anybody know in the comments? I'll have to look that up. Anyway, until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.